Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I'm still traveling. I should be getting on the road today. All right, Ten of Swords in the reverse. Guys, we gotta let it go. Do not repeat that cycle. And the Knight of Swords, running towards it. So maybe this ending is not quite as painful as you think it's going to be. I feel like that's what this card is saying. Whatever's ending to end this cycle doesn't have to be super painful. It just has to evolve, right? I always see Ten of Swords as an ending, but what we don't always realize and remember, or I don't always realize and remember, is that an ending and beginning is just the end of the way things are, the way they are now, right? You could very easily have the same people in your life and evolve and change, and the relationships change, right? And if the person you're in the relationship with accepts those changes and grows and changes themselves, then in essence, it's ended, right? The relationship as it used to be has ended. Does not mean that it has to be over, just different. So I feel like that's what this is saying to us is, whatever situation you're in that needs to end isn't as final as you think it might be. It just needs to evolve. It needs to grow. It needs to mature. And I feel like that's what the Ten of Swords in reverse is telling us is you don't have to end it. Just make it evolve. We have all those crows. Again, bringers of messages, right? Actually, I think I looked it up yesterday, and it was transition, change, right? So with the card talking about the endings and the crows meaning change, I'm literally going to look it up. Hang on, guys. Haven't gone anywhere. Where's my crows? I saved it for us. There we go. So the crows, I'm going to read it. I know I'm pausing a lot. I'm sorry, guys. Everything you've been working towards is now coming to fruition. Your crow meeting is a clear message as to what your next steps are. So there you go. I don't even think the universe wants you to end whatever it is that is evolving here. They just want it to evolve. It also says pay attention to your thoughts as well as the omens around you. The signs are very precise now. So, I mean, it's definitely evolving. Whatever situation that's cycle is changing. And the Knight of Swords, the Knight's super fast. He's flying, but he's got magic behind him. He's got his arrow and he's following the signs. I feel like he's pushing forward with enthusiasm as fast as he can go. He's not using any outside force to go faster, right? Not yet, anyway. And he's got a watch on. So what's the timing? Perfect timing, divine timing. He has a bow and arrows. I'm sure there's a more eloquent explanation for a bow and arrow, but I see an arrow like he's on point, right? He's definitely starting to see things clearly, and he's on point. He's paying attention to the omens. He's following the signs. So follow the signs, guys. They're going to be really precise. They're going to be quick too. I had a couple little things yesterday that manifested almost within 20 minutes. It was wild. And remember to give your gratitude to God and make sure that he is given his due credit for these things, right? Now I got the Two of Swords in the upright. So there's a decision to be made. it's not going to be an easy decision. She looks pulled in two directions. She's not looking. I don't feel like that means she's doesn't want to make the decision. I feel like it means she's making the decision solely with her third eye, with her mind's eye. She's not looking. She doesn't want to see with her human self. She's trusting the signs, right? She's ending the cycles. She's got to make a decision, but it's got to be intuitive. She's got to be using her magic. And it needs to have balance. You see that there with the balance. She's not super defensive, but she's definitely protecting her heart chakra. Throat chakra, actually, I think she's more protecting her throat chakra, which shouldn't really need protection. But, you know what I think this is? She's using it carefully. So I had a thought the other day about how words mean different things, right? So if you go to Webster's dictionary, for example, and I'm kind of like addicted to doing this, I don't know why, and you look up the definitions of words, like the true definitions, because when was the last time you looked up a word that you thought you knew, right? And you go to the 15th century definition of the word. It is so completely different from the way that we use it today. It's ridiculous. And when you can take the context in which the word is used and you look up the definition for the time frame of the context in which the word was used and then interpret whatever it is you're reading, it can take on a whole new meaning for you. And I feel like that's what she's learning here, right? She's learning that not only does the definition of the time frame in the dictionary make a difference, but who you're talking to makes a difference, right? Sorry, guys, I have to sneeze. Okay. For example, my kids, I think I might have said this on an earlier reading this week where my daughter used the word ma'am and sir in South Carolina, and it was very respectful. And when she moved up north to Connecticut, she continued to be respectful, as my daughter is, and was looked upon as being disrespectful because they didn't appreciate the words the way the South did. Prime example of what I mean. Consider your audience, and I think she's doing that now. So she's using her words very carefully and not letting the reaction change her mind, right? She knows what she needs to do. She's using her intuition. She's using balance. She's using good judgment with her vocabulary, and following the signs. Like the signs are literally talking to her, right? They're literally talking to her. So she's on point. I mean, she is on point, definitely. And then we get the Nine of Wands in the reverse. So Nine of Wands, that's protection. That's good boundaries. That is, I think it's just really good boundaries. That's all that's coming to me. Just boundaries. I think in the reverse, it's telling you to be careful of that. Be careful not to set your boundaries so high that you don't let people in, but not so low that you let people take advantage, right? Because she's perfectly balanced here. It's right at the halfway point with the boundaries. And again, using her intuition, her eyes are closed. And she's barefoot. I never noticed that before. I think she's barefoot. She's grounded. She's very grounded into her spirituality, into the earth. She's tied into Mother Gaia. She's tied into the collective. This is a spiritually and mentally healthy person. And I say healthy because nobody's perfect, right? But we do the best we can with what we have. So mind your health, mind your spiritual health, and mind your physical health. And really, really take care of those boundaries. All right. Let's see what's coming up. What's coming up today? What may be coming that we don't know is coming? What can we be careful of? What can we be aware of? What should we be aware of? And, there we go. I feel like that's Knight of Cups. There's our romance again. I don't know, guys. The healthier we get spiritually, and the more our relationships in our everyday life improve, and we set those boundaries, and we use our intuition, we're careful with our words, and we are following the signs and ending cycles and evolving. We have seen him every day. Every day we've seen him. Something's coming, guys. Something is coming. What do they say? When you least expect it, when you're not looking, that's when it finds you. It's going to be so out of left field, I feel like. Just completely unexpected. Completely unexpected. He looks prepared, so I feel like it might be somebody you know. This might be somebody you already know. And again, with the hat, I don't know what it is with that hat. I keep getting drawn to the stinking hat. And that Crocodile Dundee hat is so crazy to me. So somebody's carrying a torch for you. Somebody's been waiting for you to evolve. And they are coming in quick once this cycle ends. It may have already ended. It may have already evolved, and you just possibly didn't even see the shift in the evolution of the relationship. But this is what, when this Knight of Cups makes himself known, at the very least, you make your own decisions. We all have free will. You go for it or don't go for it, but at least you'll know that cycle of the other thing, that shit's gone. Let that shit go. And then we've got the King of Pentacles. The first thing I see is the animal spirit, right? So I feel like it's a coyote. It could be a wolf. It may be a wolf. It's probably a wolf. I don't know. And our King of Pentacles, he's got a lot of facial hair, which we don't usually see on the cards. And I feel like that just is indicating how wise he is. He's super, super wise. I feel like this means that you finally figured out that money is an energy, right? Because look at the pentacle there. It's got its own magic, right? It's just an energy. And our king here has figured that out, and he's kind of smirking like, I who knew, right? He has fixed his relationship with money. And I know there's a lot of people in the world, myself included, who just have a completely dysfunctional relationship with money. And I know that sounds almost comical, right? But we don't even realize the stories that we tell ourselves in regards to money. I was always taught, and not that this is a bad thing necessarily, if you want to be successful or be rich or make a lot of money, you have to work hard. And you have to, possibly go to college. You have to be the best in your field. You have to constantly be striving and working for it, right? Well, I hate to tell you guys, but that is a limiting belief. It just is. God is infinite. He can do whatever he wants. He can orchestrate whatever he wants. His imagination knows no bounds. So who are we to restrict him with money having to require hard work? Maybe it just requires hard work in evolving yourself. Maybe it's just the hard work in loving yourself. Maybe it's just the hard work in serving your fellow man. It doesn't have to be what the traditional sense of the word work is, which brings me back to the whole word thing with the considering your audience, right? When I say work to my parents, right away they're thinking job, your 9-to-5 job. If I say work to my daughter, she'll probably tell you that involves taking care of a 3 and a 4-year-old all day long. If you ask me what work is, I would say it's it's life, right? It is just, you have to put the effort in. So what does work really mean? You know what? I'm actually going to look that up. I kind of want to see, because I feel like I'm onto something here. And if I'm not, and I'm going down some crazy rabbit hole, well, then at the very least, you will learn what the textbook definition of the word work is. But I really feel like it's worth looking up here. So, sorry guys, just take 1 second. And what does work mean to you? I mean, what is your work? I also heard a long time ago, and I love this saying, do what you love and the money will follow, and you'll never work a day in your life. Well, I mean, think about that. It's true, right? Because if you absolutely love whatever it is you do, and you exchange that energy for money, then that is, in fact, the traditional, it removes the traditional sense of the word work, because you don't find it to be cumbersome. You're doing something you enjoy. So work is really a state of mind. So I've got the definition up here, and it means to perform work or fulfill duties regularly for wages or salary. Okay, so duties. So what's a duty, right? Oh my God, that was funny. Forget it. All right. To function or operate according to plan or design. Now that's interesting. To function and operate according to a plan or design. So, for example, my Keurig coffee machine is designed in a certain way to operate, and therefore it works. But my Keurig doesn't go and exchange money for working, right? So work isn't always equated to getting money in return. The other thing that work means is to exert an influence or tendency. That's interesting. So if we exert our influence, that's considered work. For example, a parent can literally, textbook definition, say that they have work to do when they have to go take care of their kids. I guess that's how you could equate work to job, and how parenting is a job, right? Another definition of the word work is to make way slowly with difficulty, move or progress laboriously. So it is work to walk instead of run. It is work to slow yourself down. It's not a sprint, guys. It's not a sprint. It is a marathon. Nobody gets out of this world alive. And now that we've completely dissected the word work, the phrase to have money you have to work hard takes on a whole new meaning now for you, doesn't it? Now you don't have this limited belief of what work means. Work can literally mean anything. To move slightly in relation to another part. Make progress. That's all it takes. A little bit of progress in whatever it is you're doing. That's the work that you need for the money. Remove that limiting belief, and you will be surprised at the world of opportunities that present itself when you don't limit the universe, spirit, or God to a specific way of doing things. You know, it's kind of like we talked a few weeks ago about what you ask for, right? If you ask for $200, well, by all rights in law of attraction, they can't give you $500, right? But if you ask for $200 or more, right? Always add that or more. Give spirit, give God the freedom to be creative, to have a bigger imagination than you have, to figure out a way to get it to you and give it to you with as much abundance and love as they can. Quit limiting your wishes. All right. Final outcome. We got the Hangman in reverse again. I love that so much. And the moon. So we got back-to-back major arcanas. Hanged Man in reverse. You are not hung up on any decisions anymore. You get it. You're connected. There's magic. You could do it with one hand tied behind your back. literally. I mean, look, her hand is tied. It's not literally tied, but there's a tie there. You got this. You've been working for this. You have been training for this. You are prepared for this. And now you know this. Everything that you've learned, everything that you've been working for is going to pay off. And I feel like with this card, you know things you don't even know you know. Literally. Like you just have all this knowledge and no idea where it came from, how it got there, how much time and effort you've actually put in, because it didn't feel like work, right? It didn't feel like you made an effort to do something that you didn't want to do for money, because that's what we traditionally think it is. It didn't feel like you were taking leaps and bounds when you took tiny steps, right? We talk a lot about how the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And I don't think you guys realized that 1,000 miles went by. And you got this. Do it. Be confident. Keep your perspective as a multifaceted, how do I want to say that? Keep looking at things from someone else's point of view, not always yours. Consider the source of who is speaking to you and translate it the way that they mean it, not the way that you hear it. When you're talking to somebody, translate it the way that they will hear it, not the way that you mean it, because they're not always the same thing. We have to be careful. We have to know that if we're going to be an effective communicator, and I feel like, again, back to the Two Swords, you have to consider both sides. You have to consider who's your audience. You know, they tell you in marketing, in a job, consider your audience. Why don't they teach you that as children, to consider your audience when you have an everyday conversation? I mean, it's really elementary if you think about it. And it's these elementary things that we have just taken for granted, that it is one way, right? It's the way we were taught. It's not whoever taught us, it's not their fault. And it's nobody's fault. It was up to us to figure it out. Guys, we are the universe. We can make the rules. We were just never told we could. It's not even that we were told we couldn't. We just were never told we could. It's like, I feel like we've been walking around in a, with four fence posts, 4 fences around us, and we feel like we've had all these limits, right? What we didn't realize was the posts never touched. We could escape the corners if we wanted to, is what it feels like. So free yourself. Free yourself to imagine infinity, literally. And always keep your perspective in mind. And then the moon. Now, the moon is usually indicative of like secrets and things that are hidden, right? It's the nighttime. It's very intuitive. It's very spiritual. I see this is a very spiritual card. We've got a black and a white. Again, with the, you know what? That definitely is a coyote. I know I was talking myself into the fact that it was a wolf, but we've got the 2 coyotes here. Either way, we got coyote and wolf showing up. So, I mean, we can look those up. I probably won't look them up here on this reading, but I'm going to definitely look them up after. And, this is not my mermaid deck, and yet she's a mermaid. And she's in water, right? It's all emotion. It's all intuition. And she is tied into the collective. And she gets, her energy from the moon. She is a moon goddess, if you will. And think about the moon, right? We've got dark and we've got light, and she's accepting that. She's got no problem with that. She makes no apologies. She is balanced. And there's phases of the moon, right? There's going to be phases, guys, coming up. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. And it's just a phase. It's not a lifetime sentence. Remember that, right? Try to keep the light a little bit brighter than the dark. It looks like it's just a little bit bigger, but it's always there. Don't ignore it. Give it its due credit and its due gratitude. You know, we couldn't learn what we learned without it, and we couldn't accept unconditional love without acknowledging it, being true to ourselves, being honest with ourselves. We couldn't give unconditional love without it being, if you can't accept your own darkness, how are you going to accept anybody else's? I mean, you can't give something you don't have. So I feel like that's what this card is saying is just stay balanced. Know that it's a phase. Everything we go through, good, bad, or otherwise, it's just a phase. It's not a lifetime sentence. I am going to look up coyote, guys. I feel like, I don't know. It needs to be defined. So let's see if I can find it fairly quick. If not, then we'll just end the reading there. But I am going to try to give it an effort here. And it's not looking good. At any rate, go look up coyote, guys. If I think of it, I will comment later with the definition and maybe pick it up there. But just know that it's a phase. Be aware of that. What you don't see coming, Queen of Cups. I mean, yeah, we've seen her before too. You're going to be all up in your feels. And for the first time in your life, I think it's going to feel good. It's going to feel balanced. It's going to feel right. Go with it. Just go with it. Enjoy it. All right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. That's awesome. We will chat tomorrow. Love you guys.